In the last assignment, we saw two EQ curves, and I asked you about your experience after applying those two EQs. One of the EQs is this 80 Hz roll-off. I showed you in the last lecture how to get this curve. If you have not watched that, please do so first. Now, what is the actual purpose of this EQ curve? This EQ curve cuts frequency below 80 Hz. To understand why we cut frequency below 80 Hz, you need to understand the frequency distribution of our voice. On the x-axis, you can see numbers representing frequency, 20 Hz at the start and 20 kHz at the end. By manipulating this line, we can boost or cut some frequency energy. There is a chart that can help you to decide which frequency to boost or cut. On the screen, you see a vocal cheat sheet from the producer Hive. This chart will give you some hints about how a frequency range sounds. However, this is not an ultimate guideline. These charts are based on people's experience working with audio. You can use them to diagnose your audio issues. For example, if your audio suffers from sharpness or sibilance, you might consider cutting frequencies from 5 to 8 kHz. However, that requires experience with frequency manipulation. Different voice recordings have different patterns and do not follow a simple rule here. Though the regions are quite distinctive in this chart, they actually overlap. Understanding the EQ like a professional would require another 10-day training program. Currently, I do not have one, but when I introduce such a program, you can take part for free if you complete this accelerator training program. I showed you this chart mainly to introduce you to the region with low-end rumble. There can be some low-frequency noise in the 20 to 80 Hz range. Unless you have a too bassy or deep voice, there is little chance for actual voice frequency in this range. If you introduce a cut in this range, then it can help to reduce low-frequency noises. Let me show you what I mean by that from one of my recordings. The recording you see on the screen is normalized to -3 dB after recording. I have not added other effects that normalize. We will now go to ACX check to see how far it is to meet ACX standards. We can see it is falling for noise floor by a very small margin. ACX requires the noise floor to be below -60 dB, and this audio has around -59 dB. I will apply the first EQ of the roll-off below 80 Hz. I will go to Filter Curve EQ to do that. This EQ curve cuts from 80 Hz and below. If you remember the EQ cheat sheet, low rumbling noise resides in this frequency range. If my recording has such low frequency noises, it will be decreased after applying this EQ. I will apply this EQ. The EQ is applied, and I will now go to the ACX check. Before applying the EQ, the noise floor was around -59 dB. It has now decreased to -64 dB. That means I got around a 5 dB decrease in the noise level. But for you, it will be different. If you do not have low-frequency noises, you won't see such a decrease. Today your assignment will be around this noise level. I will explain the steps in the email. For me, the noise level decreased after the 80 Hz roll-off EQ. Can you think of what will happen after the second EQ of the treble boost? Should the noise level increase? If it increases, then how much increase? Okay, let's check it. I will go to the Filter Curve EQ again and apply a treble boost, which increases energy in the higher frequencies. The treble boost is in the factory presets. A 9 dB boost is considered too much and may affect the audio in a bad way, so I will limit the boost to 6 dB. You can drag the line down to 6 dB. I will apply this treble boost. I will go to the ACX check again. You can see the noise floor slightly increased, it is around -63 dB now. That means I had some noises at a higher frequency, and the treble boost increased slightly. However, that is not an issue as the increase is slight. Depending on your voice type, you may or may not need a treble boost on your recording. For example, if you already have a sharp S problem, a treble boost will worsen the situation. On the other hand, a treble boost makes the voice sound crisp and bright. You need some experience to find the best EQ for your voice. To help you with that, I provide the custom EQ and macro as a bonus for accelerator program participants. Once you have a stable recording environment and have mastered proper recording techniques, send me one of your recordings to claim the customized EQ. I will discuss those and some advanced EQ techniques in the next assignment. You will get the necessary steps for today's assignment in the email.